Hi guys, Craig here from Push Patterns. Welcome to this how to push to video. In this video, we're going to be looking at how we can control audio effects using the push to controller. We'll look at controlling sends, controlling audio effects, controlling the master channel, and then we'll have a summary at the end. So let's get into using the push controller to control audio effects. So now let's look at how we can access all these audio effects we've just looked at in Ableton on the push to. So for this, we're going to be using this kind of square up in the top right hand corner to navigate what we can view on the screen. This will also help us change these encoders at the top here so we can affect our audio effects. We can dial in, well, basically what we were turning with our mouse, we can turn with these encoders here. Okay, so first thing we're going to look at is how we access our sends. So we need to press this button at the top right hand corner, which is mix. If your screen looks like this, you need to press it again until you see all the levels of each track. Now, we have submenus at the top here. So as a default, the first thing you see is volumes for each track. So each one of these encoders now will act as a volume for each one of the tracks. Now, if we click on sends, so I've clicked on a send. Now you see I have a circular dial on each track. Now this is the send and return in Ableton. So if I press play on this clip here, then I turn up send, you can hear now there's more reverb. And that's on the drum channel. I can do it here. It's on the piano. And if I go to send B, does the same. So this same dial will act as the delay. Here, that's the reverb. So that's how you access the sends. So you see up here, you use these pages to flick between the different sends. Then the encoder that's in the line with the track. So here, this is our drum track. This will always be the send on this track. And then we use these top buttons at the top to flick between which ones. Now to control an effect that lives on the channel, so it's not on a send, we need to then change the view here. So we go into the top right hand corner, then we'll go into like the top left hand slice and it says device. So what happens here is we now can choose with this button here what track we are going to play. Okay, so the grand piano doesn't have any audio effects, neither does this one. We just put them on the drum track. So we got the drum track and now another sub menu. So at the top here we have our two effects that we can scroll between. So these kind of buttons at the top here are our sub menus. And these help us choose the tracks that we want to control. So if we go to auto filter, we now can see that we have filter type and frequency and resonance. So the frequency was the dial, as you can see on the visual on the screen, that controls the cutoff point. So if I press play again on this, okay, the resonance as well. Okay, then if I want to go to the super looper, I just press this button here. Now it's changed to the super looper, and I have to look for the encoder. When I go back to the auto filter, oh, changed the wrong one there. So I want to go back to the auto filter, change the filter type, super looper. I'm going to bring this one back in. The other effect we used was something on the master channel. Now if you see here, there's no master button. So that's where we press this button here. Then this shows all the available effects on our master. So pitch drop is on the master channel. You see here we have value 1, value 2. So you just switch between these two and this turns it off and on. So I press this again. Here we go, to go back to the channel. Okay, and that's how we control our effects on the push. Now there's some advantages and some disadvantages of the way this works. There's quite a lot of menu diving, so in a live situation you have to really remember where things are. Now what's quite good is if you notice this, so I'm just going to re-enable this. Okay, if I go back to mix, if you see this button, that means the master channel has been selected. If I go back here, it remembers what page I was on. So if I keep this on sends, then I go to devices, look, that also remembers where we were. We were on the super looper one knob thing here. So if I go device again, go back here, I can choose the auto filter. If I go to mix, it's still on that page. So you can kind of have it set up for where you want to go, and it remembers, so you don't have to keep going back to the same place. But it's if you want to change, say you go to device and you want to go to a new device on here, you mix something, you come back to device, you have to go click there and make sure you got the super looper, boom. It'll take a while to get used to. If this is something that you're struggling with, there's always the option of just getting another external MIDI controller and mapping the controllers to be set to a certain parameter on a audio effect in Ableton Live.